The Floor Academy podcast is sponsored by Trelama, the trade labor marketplace, where businesses can find skilled trade labor, such as flooring installers, and where flooring installers and other skilled tradespeople can find permanent or project work. You can set up your profile at trelama.com, TRALAMA.com, or download the app from the Apple App Store or Google Play. And remember, Trelama is always free for skilled tradespeople. Welcome to the Floor Academy podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Hadeen, owner of Illustrious Hardwoods in sunny Mesa, Arizona. We're here to talk with flooring professionals from all across the country about the issues that matter to you. I want to encourage you to learn while you earn. This week's guest is Jon Namba. Jon is the owner of Namba Services in Taylorsville, Utah. He's also the Editorial Director for Floor Covering Installer Magazine. From positions with the NWFA to CFI to CTEF, he's been a busy man making many connections. Last time, Jon and I talked about investing in yourself. This time we discuss all of the options to invest in yourself. We go over a basic description of the current certifications available and compare and contrast any similar ones. Listen in to find a fit for you and then go get your learn on. Jon Namba, are you there?
I am here, Kyle.
Awesome. Welcome back to the Floor Academy podcast.
All right. Hey, thanks for having me again.
You're welcome. You can thank David Garden. He threw you under the bus for this episode.
Dave's a good man.
Well, by the time we get done, you might not think that anymore.
May have a word or two with him after this one, huh?
Yeah, maybe. No, I was on the phone with him, new president of CFI, and
right.
he noticed that obviously there's a lot of certifications out there, and there's always talk in the online Facebook groups of, well, what's that one? What's this one? How does it work? So there's never really been a resource kind of quick overview other than going to the website, and not everyone wants to do that. So let's give them an hour talk on what these certs are, where to find them, what the overview is, and maybe compare and contrast a couple that are similar.
All right.
So, and before we get into that, you've been on, go back, listen to Jon's other amazing episode. I forget what we talked about off the top of my head, but I know it's good. They're all the episodes are great, but Jon's a very wise man with years of experience and knowledge beyond many other craftsmen. So there's nuggets in there. Go get them. But give us the quick background, and then we'll jump into it.
I jumped into the flooring side of the industry at about right around 1976, 1977. My future and father-in-law at that time, I was going to school, and he asked me if I'd help him part-time, and I was going with his daughter, Susie. Ended up marrying her, and then just doing some, part-time carpet installation with him between classes in college. And then he asked me, look, we're getting so busy here. Would you mind, would you be willing to come with us full-time? And it really wasn't on my radar at the time, but I, decided to jump into that and just got into the flooring industry. And here I am today with all,
Poor Susie.
all this, all this experience and that behind me that I guess that I've gotten over the years. But I decided when I decided to go into this that, I wanted to be the best that I could at it. And so when I first got into the industry, there weren't a lot of certifications just at that time. The certifications didn't really start to come around till about, right around the 90s. You had your Armstrong, your Mannington, Congolium. The resilience side was pretty strong in training back in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. And, because resilient was really taking off at that time. So they were probably the primary go-to certification, bodies out there with, through the manufacturing side of
Okay.
things. And they did a really good job of, with their certifications, their training programs, and getting a lot of the resilient installers up to speed. So, and then, in the 90s, 2000s, and that, the certification programs came out, and that's where I started getting more involved with the associations and getting certified through these associations and that.
Mm-hmm. Well, now, so I know you hold CFI, NWFA.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
CTI.
Yes.
Are you NFIC?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
And
Is it
I got,
IICRC?
I went through that program years. I mean, that was back in, wow, when you bring up IICRC, I think I went through that course in the 90s. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Am I missing any more?
Well, the resilient side,
Okay.
I've gone through several of the Armstrong certifications. I am a 4-bowl master mechanic on the resilient side. And so there's
Okay.
I guess I'm a certification geek.
Good for you.
So
Can your amount of certificates beat Rollins?
easily. Here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing about Roland Thompson. All right, Roland. When I first met Roland, I was what was I doing? I was the technical director at the World Floor Covering Association, and we were doing the regional installation contest and then national installation contest
Mm-hmm.
with the World Floor Covering Association, and at that time it was surfaces. And I had won the carpet division in 2000, I believe. I think it was 2000 that I had won. And then I became the technical director over at the World Floor Covering Association. And Roland started to participate in these installation contests. And when I got involved, my written test was very challenging. The hands-on portion was very challenging, and it pushed the installers. And Roland was one of those that grasped the concept, because I was pushing these guys and gals to think and let them know, look, you have value in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
And Roland, the first go around, he struggled a little bit on the written test. And he said, I am going to do better. I'm going to make myself better. I'm actually going to go to school to do better on my math. And he did. The next year he came back, he just went right through that, the written test portion of it. The math he understood. So yeah, Roland and I go back a long ways. And I think he came out to the WFCA one time, and he saw the wall that I had in my office at that time. I had a lot of the certifications up on the wall, and I think he took it from there and just, he ran with it. So now he's done a great job. He's really gotten into the, wanting to gain the education and knowledge, and he saw the vision.
Yeah.
He saw the vision that certification is, it's good for self-esteem, and it can help you develop, your business plan.
Yes.
So
he always says that's his college education. Those are his degrees. So
there you go.
I agree. We can't go to. There's not a lot of trade schools for flooring, if any, in America. They're few and far between. And there's no. You can't get a degree per se. So the certs, to me, that's saying you know what's up. And it's sad, right? Like Armstrong's not doing anything anymore. It's Congolium or Forbo still doing it. I think Forbo still does stuff.
Well, even Forbo is pretty much, eliminated their certification program now. So yeah, it is tough. You have some great great instructors. You had some great programs and great certifications through these manufacturers. Yeah, it's you're not seeing that like you used to.
Yeah.
And what I tell people is, I have spent more money on training and certifications than I probably would have. I didn't complete college,
Yeah.
but if I had completed college, I probably have spent more money on training and certifications than I would have going to college.
I bet you it's paid you back tenfold every time, though.
But there you go. There, you look at, all right. So you spent all this, John. You spent all this money. What did you get out of it? Yeah, you got the knowledge, but is it paying off? I can unequivocally tell you, when they say knowledge is power, you better believe it. Because if you've got the credentials to back you up, if you have that knowledge, you've got the certification, you have the proper training, I'll tell you what, it's hard for anyone to argue your points, because you've got the credibility to stand behind it.
I agree.
So
when they call you, when your phone rings, folks, that call is from a client that wants to talk to a professional. You have to remember you're the professional. They don't dictate the terms. The minute the client wants to start telling you how you need to install, that's not your client anymore. So if you go and get the education that John's talking about, then you get to control that conversation, and you get to say, no, that's not how this works. It works like X, Y, and Z, and we have to follow these rules for these reasons. And then you're going to be successful, and you're not going to have a failure. So they pay for themselves. And it's not that you can't get this stuff without certifications, but when you have, it's really silly, right? Like, a doctor gets to put MD after their name, and they can put, the doctor before. Why wouldn't you want some letters after your name? Whether the client realizes it or not, right? Everyone, the thing you always see is people don't even know these things exist. They don't care. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, let them know. Say, I took time. I went. I'm a certified tile installer. I'm a certified flooring installer. I'm National Wood Flooring Association Advanced Sand and Finish certified. I've spent time on me. I've invested in my career to better serve you. Tell them.
Exactly. There you go. And unfortunately, what we hear so many times is, you had mentioned that, a lot of times consumers don't know. Well, when they do know, it's usually because of a failure. They start doing their research online, and that's when they find out. They find out who you are. They find out, and especially with social media now and the internet, it's you. I'll tell you what, people can research you like crazy.
Yes, they can.
They can really find out a lot about an individual before they even meet you. I get that a lot. So we looked you up on the internet before, to find out who you were, to make sure that you're credible in that. So consumers are using that internet more and more. So that's why I think it's more important now more than ever to make sure that, installers, contractors are upping their game to make sure that, they're ahead of that curve, and making sure that they have the opportunity to get these jobs that are out there that consumers are wanting someone who's qualified. So many consumers have been burned on a bad, you talk to so many consumers that have had a bad installation. They'll tell you a nightmare story. So, what we're trying to do through the certification programs, through education, is look, we're trying to better our industry. In turn, makes us more money. In turn, makes a happy client, which, then everybody's happy. So
correct. And
that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, if you have happy clients, it builds consumer confidence. Because right now, most people think tile is a commodity. Flooring is a commodity. It doesn't matter if it's carpet, luxury vinyl plank, tile. It doesn't matter what it is. They think it's a commodity, and it's not. There's a trade. There's craftsmanship behind it. It's an art form. All of these skills, they are art forms. And
They
that's
really are.
valuable.
Yep. It is.
So,
And that's where, and that's where the associations can help benefit so much, bringing up the industry. They're representing the industry. They have members. And that's why I feel that, you really need to support those who are trying to support us.
Mm-hmm.
And those are that's the CFI, the NWFA, the CTEF program, the NTCA. All these associations are trying to better the industry, and in turn, it just makes more, it gives the opportunity for contractors to make more money.
I agree. And it's funny because everyone, the question is always right. It's, what's the cert going to do for me? Well, the cert will do whatever you make it do for you. But the networking that happens when you're there, that's where the money comes in. That's how you're going to grow and learn even more. Like, the class will teach you stuff, don't get me wrong. But the people you meet, the relationships you build, that's the game changer. And that's how you're going to grow the industry. It's based on the networking.
It's amazing the friendships that I've gained over the years, the colleagues that I, network with on a day-to-day or weekly basis, whatever it is. You're building that network constantly, and you're always gaining knowledge and friendships. And these, it's changed when you look at your certifications. You start to talk to other people who see the value of certifications and education and training.
Mm-hmm.
They want to pass on that knowledge.
Yes.
And that's where it all starts to click. Years and years ago, it used to be, and it still is today, you have a lot of installers and contractors who, they have their trade secrets. And so they don't like to tell their trade secrets to anyone else and keep it to themselves because, that's my little niche here. But you know what? Individuals that see the value of certification in that, they're willing to give that information out. And that's what keeps things, it moves the industry up.
No, yes. What are you going to do? Keep all the information to yourself? And then when you pass, what happens? You've got a bunch of people under you that left because you weren't teaching them anything. So now they're out there hacking it up, and you took all of your quote unquote trade secrets with you. So you're not doing anybody any favors.
You're not.
I love this conversation, but I could do this all day, but this is great. Yeah. But I want to move on because I just had an episode where I was like, we're going to talk about this. And then we did not talk about anything related to what I said we would talk about.
Yeah, you go off in these tangents.
Correct. And this all has to do with what we're going to talk about, but if we can, I'm going to push us towards the main topic here. Do you have one that you want to start with? Is there?
Well, right. Let's look at NFCI, the Natural Fibers Certification program, because they're holding a class this week.
They are. They're out at currently they're with Jason Goldberg and America's Floor Source over in Columbus, Ohio.
Right. So, let's start with that program.
Okay.
So what you have here, you have a woven product that's been around for, over 100 years. And we're talking about hand sewing. And when we talk about hand sewing, that's been something that you don't see much of anymore. And it's a very high end type of installation anymore because there aren't that many individuals doing it. So here you have a group that Jason's put together, and they're going through the certification program, doing old school type installation techniques. And yet look at the value there. And these individuals that are participating, going through that certification, Jason sees the value. And not only does he see the value, he sees, bottom line, guys, we can make more money because this is a niche market.
Mm-hmm.
So why not stand out from the crowd and go through this training and certifications? So excellent opportunity for them right there on the carpet side, on the woven side of things.
I agree. I can tell you that I've had many conversations with Don Perkins, Nate Hall, Scott Zito. These guys are being flown around the country to install woven goods because they are, I want to say NFIC has, it's under 300. I think it's under 250. I think they're in like the 230s right now.
Yeah, there's not a lot of us.
There's not a lot at all. So it's if you want to put in the time and effort to go learn truly a dying art form, that's the one.
It is, and you know what? With that, the numbers that we're talking about, yeah, they are low, but you know what? Look at what these guys are able to, charge for for their services.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we travel throughout when I was doing this full time, we used to travel like some of these guys are throughout the United States, and they either have us drive or fly in, and we would, bring our needle and thread and hand sew everything. And I'll tell you one person who's an excellent hand sewer, I'll put her up against anyone, is my wife. Susie can hand sew like you would not believe. She has some of the most beautiful stitches out there that I've seen. So she does a great job.
Awesome. And I know PJ is going over all the tests. He's watching everybody at the classes. There's always talk about, are people just handing out certifications? Are you buying it? I can tell you, PJ's not handing anything out.
No. And no, he's not. And I don't think any of the associations are just handing them out. You've got some good, responsible instructors. I have not seen, at any certifications that I've been at, I have not seen anyone just hand someone a certification.
I think they're all earned. Some are easier to get than others.
Yeah,
for sure.
But some are easier. Sure.
Definitely, like you can't show up to an NFIC cert and wing it. You better be involved. You better know your stuff, and you're going to earn that cert. That much I do know.
Yeah, you've got to have the hand skills. It's tough. It's always difficult to tell someone they didn't pass, but what you try to do is you encourage them to come back. Improve on their hand skills or their technical skills, come back. And you know what? If they're willing to do that, the pride that they gain, the knowledge that they gain, and just they'll go so far in life with that if they push themselves.
I agree. Okay. Let's see. So NFIC's one. So CTEF or CTEF.
Let's go to what's that one?
CTEF.
Okay, Stratton Child Education Foundation. Scott Carruthers, he's got a good program going. I worked with his predecessor, Dave Gobis, for a number of years, and doing training with them. And Dave and I, Dave used to, when I was at the World Floor Covering Association, Dave would fly out and help me train with the World Floor Covering Association program, and then Scott took over when Dave retired. And he's done a great job. His certifications used to run 4 days. Ooh. And he and I used to have a lot of conversations. He said, John, how can we get this down to, down to a couple of days and still, have the value for this certification? I said, Scott, it can be done. You just got to, there's got to be some streamlining of the program. And obviously tile's a lot heavier, so you need to make sure you streamline your modules to where you're not taking an entire warehouse, because a lot of times these certifications are done in warehouses with limited space. So, he and I talked, and we helped each other out on, some of the modules. And he actually came down to, I was teaching a class down there doing a certification. with CFI actually on tile, and he wanted to come down and see how we were doing our program. And he said, how can you build a module to where it'll fit? Well, I showed him what I had designed that I could set 2 installers on a 4x8 sheet. And he actually took that and ran with it. And I think he still uses kind of that basic format and template today. So it's just instructors helping instructors out there. And Scott's done a great job of that with that CTEF, the tile side of the certification. They've expanded it so much. You've got your CTI, then you got your, more advanced courses, your waterproofing, your mortar beds and all that stuff. So yeah, they've done a good job with their certification program.
So there's 2 parts to that, right? Is my understanding. So you can go get your CTI, your certified tile installer, and there is a second level, correct?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, that's where you start getting into more of your advanced type of installation techniques and that. So they've got a couple different programs on that.
And I want to say they are currently high 1600s, I think, after their last test. I saw somebody post that they got their cert in Florida, and I want to say it was like 1690 something.
Wow, so that's great.
It's come a long way, but it's still it's a low number for how many tile installers are out there. I don't think we're ever going to be able to push. I don't think we can push back with less than 10,000 people that are saying we've done this. We need everyone to do this in order. You have pull with the industry when you hit a number that big is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's been a challenge, and obviously, shutting down in 2020 with COVID-19 killed everybody on the training side. That just hurt everyone. But the numbers are slowly growing, and I think through social media, through basically, you're seeing the testimonials on social media, whereas we didn't have those, social media platforms before. It was more difficult. I think you're seeing that the energy level for certifications is really increased by having, these individuals that are on, social media a lot, just promoting it. So I think it's helped a lot. My son and I went through, and I'm trying to remember what our numbers are. I think we're number like 11 and 12 or something like that. We were one of the first ones to jump on board with the CTI certification program. Okay. So we really, it was a challenge. It's a challenge.
Well, so they say it's the hardest 25 square feet you'll ever install.
It is. It is.
Okay. So with the CTI, then you can play into the NTCA and become a 5-star contractor. There's like a relationship there, right? And so the CTI is part of becoming 5-star.
Right. So, take your knowledge, take your certification, and promote yourself, and commit to doing excellent work. And you can become a 5-star. And those 5 stars, I'll tell you what, there's not a lot of them out there, but when you advertise, look, we're a 5-star member here, people and consumers are going to definitely, lean towards that. And most of the, clientele that are wanting quality work are willing to pay more money. So, if you've got that, if you've got the technical background and you got the confidence and you're committed to the industry, people see that. They see that passion you have and the drive you have.
I agree.
So it's a great opportunity for these, these companies, these contractors to keep moving up that ladder, because, from the CTEF starting there and then becoming a member of the NTCA and, getting involved with their programs, their educational programs, and continuing on to better yourself, not only with your hand skills, but your business skills. You can't beat that.
Well, in the end, the NTCA offers so much. So if you go back, oh gosh, it's probably 10 or 20 episodes. I interviewed Martin Brooks, new president.
Okay. Yep.
So,
Yep.
and we went over all the benefits of being an NTCA member. So go back a bunch of episodes, folks, learn all about what the NTCA can offer you, because it's not just somebody taking your money and giving you vouchers. Everyone always, you just get the vouchers. Man, we don't have time to get into it. That's the interview already
Yeah.
exists. Go back and listen to it. But
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah, it's so much more than the vouchers. The vouchers, that's great, but it's so much more than just the vouchers.
Yep. Okay, so I'm gonna save CFI for last, because we'll let Dave wait. He can wait patiently.
Okay. All right.
So we got NWFA, and
All
then
right.
you've got there's basic sand and finish, intermediate sand and finish, advanced sand and finish, and then you have your basic install, your intermediate install, your advanced install. So they've got 6 classes that they run across the country, various areas besides their headquarters in just outside of St. Louis. But now they've also opened up NWFA University to add additional education in many, many other areas. So what's the difference kind of in the levels of classes like each one is offering you and dealing with, and then what is NWFA University offering you?
So NWFA University and the certification process go hand in hand. So you have your online education, and then you have your hands-on education and certification. And what we've done is they've taken a lot of the technical information, because you have such a limited time to spend with the students and the attendees.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing a 4-day class, you're trying to do so many things. You're trying to do classroom, you're trying to do hands-on. So what NWFA with the university, what they've done is they've created a program, an online program, where a student can go in and out on their time and get the information they need. And what we'll do is we'll coordinate that with the hands-on training. So if they're doing a basic class, they are required to do, they're required to look at the safety template and go through that and complete that course to make sure that they understand, operating tools and the safety with saws. So there's some prerequisites that are required before they even attend the class. And so what it does is it gets them involved before they even get to a physical site. And so it gets them better prepared, and it puts everything together for them. As they go through the online courses, yeah, we see this, we see that. But when they get to the hands-on portion, it's like, okay, the light goes on. They see how it all comes together. So it's a great training and / certification process for them. And you have to complete the online portions of that through the university in order to get your certification. So they both go hand in hand. And there's different, obviously there's different skill sets for different types of installers. So like you mentioned, you have your installation, and then you have your install, sand, and finish, and then your intermediate, where we start getting into borders and a little bit more intricate layouts, and then your advanced courses, advanced school, where we really get into some crazy layouts, and then the expert school, which that's mind blowing right there.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the patterns and workmanship that those guys and gals put out is incredible. So they've got NWFA has a very structured format as far as the learning, with both hands-on and the technical side. They've actually gotten several awards for their online university program in conjunction with their hands-on portion.
All right. And I know that the university aspect of it is, I want to say it's only like 2 years old. It's picking up steam. You earn badges that you can put on your website. Your guys can earn badges that help you put different badges on your website. Like it's pretty involved.
It is very involved, and it's I think it's more than a couple of years old, but every year it's just gaining more and more momentum,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes it's nice, like I said, because those who want that to gain that education, they can do it on their leisure time. When they've got, hey, I've got a half an hour, let's get online and go to the university, see, let's go through one of these templates and courses. And then, at the end, I get a badge. So I do get a reward for going through that course.
Mm-hmm. Well, and just like the NTCA has their online apprenticeship program. And
Right.
oftentimes you bring in a guy that's 18, 19 years old, he's super green, doesn't know anything, and you're just like, well, hang out and watch me, right? Like, I don't have anything for you to do right now, just watch. Well, you can put them on these programs. They have their phone, they can log in, and they can start getting technical background that you don't necessarily have time to explain to them for 20 minutes, 30 minutes at a time. And they can always pause it. Like if you need a new bundle of wood opened up or they got to run and make a cut for you or something, like they can do that. They can pause it. They can log back in. They can continue. So there's a way to fill their time and get them a deeper knowledge than what you may have time to provide.
Oh yeah, definitely. And, I've got my installers. I pay a fee, a one-time fee every year to have my installers have access to the site.
Mm-hmm.
And so I try to encourage them, look, I'm paying for this, get online, get the badges, and I'll get, I try to give them some, I try to reward them for what they're accomplishing. Not only do they get the badge, but I'll throw in some. I'm not afraid to throw in, give them a bonus here and there.
I was going to say, I've heard of some guys offering newer guys, like if you get so many credits, you'll get a $2 raise or a $3 raise. As long as you can, like, we have the conversation and you can show me that you've gained this knowledge, then you'll get a raise. You're offering a bonus. Maybe they get, they get lunch. Who knows? You make it worth their while, but you can entice people to do this training. And
sure,
there's never anything wrong with investing back in your employees, because a smarter employee is more valuable, and that should make you more profitable, which means you can then afford to pay out bonuses.
There you go. Exactly.
It all goes hand in hand. You got to work everything together. You can't just like throw things out there. And I think that's what happens a lot, is guys are like, well, I'll just pay them more to get them to stay. Well, but how do you do that? Because you didn't raise your rates. So how do you pay them more? Are you going to take a pay cut? Because when you take a pay cut, I bet you your wife's going to have a problem with
that. Big time. Big time.
So,
it's got to balance. It's got to balance all the way around.
All right. So we're running through the different basics. I mean, you kind of went over like what the installs are like. What is the sand and finish techniques like the differences in the classes there, right? Like from basic to advanced, like how's that work?
So on the basic, basic sand and finish, they learn once it's the basics of sanding and finishing. We teach them the proper, methods as far as, sequence as far as your sanding disc. You don't jump from a 36 to 100. We teach them how to run an edger properly. How, here's what we tell students. Look, what does a sander do? It scratches a floor. What we're trying to do, we're trying to minimize those scratches and just do scratch control to make it to the point where, yes, there are scratches in this floor, but they're going to be minimal to where if you're in a standing position, you shouldn't see a bunch of scratches all over that floor.
Yeah.
When we get to the more technical side, into the intermediate classes, then you're starting to put in, install floors that run different directions. well, how do you sand a floor? How do you sand a herringbone? How do you sand a chevron pattern? Some of these parquet patterns. So that's where we'll get into that intermediate levels. You're going to change some of your sanding techniques, and that's what we show them how to do the different sanding techniques. We show them the different layouts that they can, how do you do a herringbone pattern and keep it straight. In fact, I just went with another installer just yesterday. I worked with one of the installers locally here and helped him to lay out a herringbone, doing drawing all the lines out, chalk lining those, and just showing him how to use the Dremel points and that. So, and he sent me a picture today. He's rocking and rolling on it. So
sweet.
The sanding and finish, there are techniques to properly run the big drum sanders, to properly run an edger. Are you clocking it correctly to minimize the scratch pattern? The buffer, are you clocking the buffer correctly to minimize the scratches with the, if you're using a screen, or if you're using sandpaper, whatever you're using, are you minimizing the scratches? So,
well, these days you just buy a multi-disc and you call it a day.
Hey, it's the multi-disc has definitely they've definitely been a game changer for a lot of the installers.
I would say so. There's something to be said for being able to do it with a big machine and an edger, though. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
All right. I think we've come to CFI, because there's tons of manufacturers, and we can talk about them in a minute if we have time. So
okay.
We're at CFI, and CFI focuses. They started as carpet, obviously.
Right.
And then they've expanded, and they do a little hardwood and laminate, and they do some tile. So they have a 5-week course apprenticeship program that basically you should be able to send somebody that knows nothing about carpet to Forney, Texas. They should stay there for 5 weeks, and they should come back, and they should be a semi-competent installer, is my understanding. They should know how to install, but they only have 5 weeks of training, so they're going to need some help. But they should be able to help you lay out, seam, install. Yeah, they should be able to do it all, but there's definitely going to still be a learning curve, I would assume.
Right. Yeah, they should be able to do it still with with a mentor and some guidance, because they, the 5 years or the 5 weeks that they are participating, it's great hand skills, and they're learning, once again, they're learning the proper technique right out of the gate. So they're not picking up the bad habits that some installers will try to teach. And so that puts them way ahead of the curve. So, and yeah, they originally started in carpet, and what they found is there were a lot of carpet installers that did more than just carpet. So they were, well, if that's the case, can we get involved with, some of the other surfaces? And a lot of the members, you have your resilient members, you had some hardwood members. And so they approached them and said, hey, why don't we try to get into some of this hard surface training also? And so that's what they started down that path. And yeah, there was some always, you're always going to get politics when you start going into other areas of other categories of flooring. But what they've done to help, I think, minimize some of that that political stuff back and forth, rhetoric going back and forth, is they're telling the other associations, look, we're doing this at a more of a basic level of training and certification. And I hope, I still believe that CFI looks at the NWFA as the go-to wood flooring association. They see CTEF and NTCA as the go-to tile association. They look at NFIC as the go-to woven for the woven niche market. Yeah, CFI does have their own woven program, but I think, trying to give credibility and respect to the other associations is important because, hey, we're all in the flooring industry. We all need to, we're all playing in the same sandbox. So let's all try to get along and respect each other's certification and training, and not step on too many toes. And so I think, that they're in the past, there were a few struggles in that, but I think all the associations are working through that now.
Yeah.
And it's obviously it's for the betterment of the flooring installers out there. Everyone is looking to, improve on that. So, and that's the goal. If you're, it's because we all know, all the associations know, training and certifications, they are not a money making endeavor. All right. You better be doing it for the good of the industry, because you are not going to make a lot of money with training and education. It's just not there.
It sucks that you have to say that. It really
does.
Well, especially when
really
there's how
does.
many for-profit colleges are there in the United States right now? But the minute you do it for a trade, it's for passion. That's messed up.
It is. And, unfortunately, and that's the reality of it. But to see, and that's why, I really try to support all these associations the best I can, because they are, they're passionate. They're trying to better the industry on a shoestring budget. Every single one of these, they are, none of these associations are just jumping all over with money. In fact, with 2020 shutting down, and a lot of these associations that depend on training and certification, it was a big hurt.
Yeah,
a big hurt. So, that's why I try to always tell installers, look at bettering yourself. Look at supporting the associations that are trying to support you. And, that part of that is that education and that certification process. So.
Yes. Okay. So we went over, they got their, CFI has their 5-week course, and then they have, what is it? It's R1, C1. So residential 1, commercial 1,
right. Then
residential 2, commercial 2. And then there's master 1 and master 2 now.
Yes. So with the master's program, the original master program, we wanted to step it up. When I was involved with that part of the program, we wanted to step it up one more notch. So we had, at that master level, you pretty much got the knowledge to work on a commercial project, a residential project, more the high end, but not that really, really, really high end, to where if I were a master 2 installer, can I do a bird cage step and hand sew it? Can I do a pattern running up the stairs and make it straight and aesthetically pleasing? So the Master 2 came more when we started looking at how can we take it a step further. And that's where we decided to, do the more of a custom type installation.
Okay.
And when you talk about challenging there, all you're doing is a few steps for that Master 2. But in those few steps, you see so much going on with your technical and hand skills. There is a written test. You have to identify, backings. You have to be able to hand sew, and you have to really think about layout. And you got to be able to come into a job site. The idea behind that is, if I have a Master 2 installer, if there's a situation on a job site where you have several installers who are trying to figure out how to work out of this situation, a Master 2 installer should have the ability to walk in, have the technical knowledge, have the hand skills to be able to guide and direct and assist someone who's having difficulty.
Okay. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So that gets us from the very basic of here's a 5-week course to introduce you to you can do carpet, and then you work your way all the way up to I'm I'm king of the world, and I can come be the foreman and direct and fix any situation, which is where you would want someone that's knowledgeable to be able to do. Okay, so then they have their laminate hardwood one, and then they've now included LVP into that. And then
Right. So,
there's like a
yep.
hardwood laminate 2.
Yeah. So what they're trying, with LVP getting so popular right now, it's kind of starting to take over a lot of the market share of some of the other flooring categories. And you are seeing a lot, people, individuals think, look, it's just a click floor, just put it together. No, there's a lot more to it than that. So
Yes.
to have an entity that's trying to certify installers and train them on different types of LVPs out there, the different click system. Yeah, I think it's definitely needed because there's really no one, I don't think there's any manufacturers right now that are certifying on the LVP click
Oh
flooring.
my! I wish there were.
So,
I really
yeah.
do. I
And
wish the
that's,
manufacturers would get back in it.
yeah, so do I. And so that's where I think CFI is helping fill that void, to try to properly train some of these individuals and get them up to speed on, and having some of the manufacturers supporting the program definitely
Mm.
helps.
Yeah, and so I mean I know I am hardwood laminate 1 certified.
Okay.
It's very basic. It's rudimentary. It's basic
Right.
layout.
Right.
It's proper like testing of subfloors, how to determine moisture issues. It's all very basic. And then I know if we need to get a bunch of people together to hold the hardwood laminate too, because I'd like to go get that cert. But then you're going to get into some more advanced install techniques. You might lay out a herringbone. You might do a chevron pattern. It's going to be more advanced installation techniques and layouts, whereas CFI doesn't touch sand and finish. That's not going to be their thing. That's definitely NWFA's world. And if you want to learn sand and finish, that's where you're going to go.
Right.
So that's kind of the difference there. And then, okay, so they've got carpet, they got laminate. Okay, we got tile and resilient left.
So on the tile side, once again, it's your basic entry level type of installation and certification that they're promoting, and they're not getting into showers, they're not getting into waterproofing. They're just, look, coming through our course, you should have the hand skills and knowledge to do a basic layout. And that, so they're not saying, you're a master tile setter. It's just, look, you have the hand skills to do some smaller jobs.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a whole house of carpet, you've got a bathroom of tile. Could you handle all that? Yeah, at this time now you have the hand skills that you can do the carpet and the tile in that bathroom.
Okay. And then what about LVP used to be in resilient. They've pulled it out. Obviously, it's not exactly the same as hardwood and laminate, but it definitely falls more into that category than
Yeah,
traditional resilient products.
Yeah, well, LVP is still considered, in my own opinion, and I think even with the RFCI Resilient Floor Covering Institute, LVP is still considered a resilient type floor,
Yes.
because of the vinyl components in it. So, and if you look at the RFCI site, you'll see that LVP, those type of products are still in that category there. So. But it is a little bit different than just your, some of your laminate type floors. So it could, if they're doing it their own category on the LVT type products, I see nothing wrong with that. I think it just enhances, their program, and it keeps it keeps some of those different products separate from each other.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, I
no, I
think
don't
with
see a problem with that.
when you get into the resilient class, my understanding is that you're dealing more with the sheet goods. You're doing heat welds, um,
Well,
cove.
that's the thinking. But resilient, yeah, resilient. Cork is considered. We put cork into the category of resilient. We put, so yeah, yeah, your linoleum, your sheet goods, yeah, that's all resilient. But once again, your LVP is still considered
Mm-hmm.
resilient.
Yeah, no, I mean I agree. But at the end of the day, like I think it fits better with the hardwood laminate, which is where that move came from. It's not,
Because of the click type systems.
yeah, mostly, and that's a
Yep.
lot of what's going on. But so for the resilient class, it is more gauged towards the sheet goods, is my understanding.
It used to, yeah. When I was involved, it used to be. It used, we had Armstrong, we had Congolium, we had manufacturer participations. So, and it was mostly just sheet goods
Mm-hmm.
at that time.
Okay.
So I don't know if they've incorporated LVP into that, or they're keeping it a separate category. I'm not sure on
It
that part.
it was in there. Like I said, they've pulled LVP out. It was
Okay.
over there, and now I think they've pulled it out. They put it with the hardwood laminate, as far as
Which I
my
think is
understanding.
smart because, yeah, not too many LVP installers can go in and put in sheet goods with flash coping or anything like that. So it's probably good to keep it separate.
Mm-hmm. All right. I think that does it, minus the like million manufacturer trainings. So, what are your thoughts? Like, I don't care if you're going to go to a Tech, an Uzin, a Mapei, Schluter. I, I don't pick a distributor, pick or a manufacturer, pick one, anyone. I don't care which one. But at the end of the day, like they all of them offer what they call product demos for the most part, right? And
Right.
so it's them selling you their product, but at the for me it's I get to go learn how something works and I can see it and determine does that fit my need. What are your thoughts on going and attending the product demos, the trainings that these manufacturers put on?
I think what they do is fantastic. Obviously they want to sell you their products, but here's what you gain out of that. You do learn the proper method of installation with their specific product, because there are subtle differences. There are subtle differences, and then there are some major differences with some of these manufacturers. The more you get to know each manufacturer, it's like us. We don't use one specific manufacturer.
Mm-hmm.
I use what's going to work in that, like you just said, what's going to work in that particular situation. I may use an Ardex here. I may use a Shonox here. I may use a Mapei here or there, a Sika, Uzin. But each one of those products, if I know how to use them and I know how to use them correctly, hey, it's a successful installation. And it worked to fit that particular job, in that project. So I think having the ability and having these manufacturers that are willing to, a lot of them will even send the reps out to your job site
Yes,
to
they
help
will.
to assist you.
Go
And
get that
I
free
think
labor, guys and gals. Get that free labor.
heck yeah. In fact, I had another installer who, Bostic was doing he asked Bostic if they would come down and help him do a self-leveling project. And heck, they gave him a mixing kit. I thought, dang,
Yep. I
I had
just
to pay for mine.
it's fun.
I
Yeah,
think
no, I just did a 56 bag pour and my Uzine rub came out and hung out with us for the day. So I got a third pair of hands for free. Made it super
there you
easy.
go. No, it's great because you not only do you get the assistance and the education from them, but you've got the backing if you can get a rep out to your job site. If they were there, you got the backing. If there's a claim on that job,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to back you up
You
because
got
they
it.
know, look, we helped you on this project. Yeah, we know exactly what went on this project, so we're gonna help you.
Yes.
So if you have an opportunity to get, I always tell contractors, get to know your local reps because they're going to help you out.
And they're a
I
phone
had
call away. It's so
yeah,
easy.
that's all they are. We had a pedestal job on a outdoor deck, and I called my pay rep and I told him I cannot, Bart, I can't find any pedestals, and he managed to round me up a bunch of cases of pedestals because they had them over in Europe and we were trying to get them over here, and he ended up rounding me up some local pedestals, so it worked out.
Yeah, it's amazing. I know Ardex, if you go to like Ardex Academy and then you have to do like a commercial job and you're Ardex certified or trained or whatever, like they'll send out the pump truck for you if it's big enough. And I think it's no charge. But if you're buying that much level, it's built into the price. Let's not kid anybody. Nothing's free in life.
Yeah. Yeah. But manufacturers want to be there to help. They don't want to see their products installed improperly.
No, it costs them time and money,
they're
and
more than willing to assist you. So take advantage of it.
I agree. There's nothing. Look, guys and gals, education isn't going to hurt you. I get it. A lot of us we're tradesmen and women. Okay, we weren't great at school. I have a college degree that I paid for, and the accreditation was so bad, I could get a D, and at the end of the day, I could get my degree. I could have gotten a D in every single class I ever took. It's that bad. If I went to a proper 4-year school, they would laugh me out the door, and I would have to start all over from the beginning, and I wouldn't even have an associate's. So learning wasn't something that was always big for me. But when I got involved in this industry and I saw the potential of things I could do, I became very thirsty for the knowledge to be able to know how to run a better business. How can I install a better floor? What can I do with different products to make my life easier? And so my evenings, my afternoons, my weekends are filled with finding this stuff out. And I think Jon was probably the same way.
Yep. Even now, I'm on my twilight years now, but it's still, if you got to push yourself and just keep learning and improving on yourself, and it'll come back to you. It'll come back. You'll have rewards.
Mm-hmm. It just makes life easier.
It does, but you got to have that challenge too. It's what you live for. If you don't know it, find out. If you don't know the answer, find out.
Oh, well, but that's what I'm saying is like getting the knowledge makes it easier. So the next time you encounter that problem, you don't have to worry. But at the same time, yes, it becomes challenging. But and even if you have the answer, it doesn't mean that it's not challenging. It just means you have the answer.
Yeah. Yep. You still got to work towards it.
Yes. Okay. So you said I got to ask this question. I got to know the answer. Are you building Frankenshowers over there? Are you putting like Schluter with Mapei and Latacrete products? Are you building Frankenshowers because you're using the products you like?
Okay. We do,
it's okay. Hey, a lot of guys build Frankenshowers.
Do we use one system? I got to be honest. No. When you say Frankenshowers, we're really spoiled here in Salt Lake. We have Rod Catwick, who.
Oh yeah. Built with foam.
All our shower pans before Rod came along were mud. Everything was mud. Everything was mud. And now, very seldom do I have mud. I mean, I can call Rod or text Rod and say, "Hey, I need this pan. Here's the layout." And the next day, I'm picking up my shower pan. I mean,
Oh my gosh.
we're so spoiled here. And then, we've got, what's his name? Who's starting to make drains now. I
The
actually,
flow effects.
yeah.
I don't know his
Um,
name. I'm not good in the
oh,
tile world, but
shoot.
yeah,
Yeah.
the flow effects is out there.
I used his product for the first time, and a couple of weeks ago on a shower that we just did, and I told Rod, okay, let's use that system. And I had a question on the application of putting it down into one of our of the drains, and I called the number, and the owner answered and talked me right through it. So, and yeah, do I mix some products here and there? I do mix. Not I don't use Mepane Laticrete on different walls of that. No, but
Yeah.
we will integrate certain things
Mm-hmm.
on our projects. But it's because we understand the benefits of each product. Hey, how can I get the best use and make this project work that much easier? And so, yeah, we'll integrate, some of these things here and there.
I'm with you. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think as long as you understand the products and their benefits and their limitations and how they can work together, you can build a very nice product. And if you're willing to back that because you believe in your work for 10, 20, 25 years, whatever you want to do, there's nothing wrong with that. Now, if you want to go full out and do a full Schluter system or a full Weedy system, like whatever it is, and you want to work with them and have their proper training and they're going to back it for the 10, 20, 25 years, whatever kind of warranty they want to put on it when you use their full system, that works too. There's nothing wrong with either way, but the whole point of this conversation is at the end of the day, you better have the technical know-how to make those things work together properly.
Exactly. Yeah. And don't get carried away. I work with some of these guys on the hardwood side with their stains and that. I keep telling guys, don't be doing this tailgate chemistry with all these different off-brand products. And so, knowing and understanding how, is this going to be compatible with this product?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you got to understand. So, yeah, you hit it. You hit it right there.
Awesome. And thank you for admitting to it. I appreciate that coming from a guy that has the training, has the knowledge, and still saying like, that's very big of you to not hide behind the mic, right? And say, oh, no. Everything's one system. Like, I think that's
I will say this, if I'm looking for a warranty on a particular project, and you had mentioned it, if I want the warranty from this manufacturer, I will use their system.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If it's that type of project where I have to have, I need this 25-year warranty, you're willing to stand behind it. Yeah, I'm going to go with that system.
Yeah.
But if I know I'm going to get the performance levels if I use this product from, A and product from B, yeah, I'll put it together. Love
it. You got to make it work. That's what we do. We're out in the field with real life issues, and it doesn't.
Exactly.
It's not always clean like the manufacturers want to present it in a class. So
no, it's not.
All right. Is there something I should have asked you in this conversation that I didn't ask you?
Wow.
I know. It's tough.
I can't. Yeah. Not that I can think of.
Okay.
You did a good job. You're doing a good job out there with your podcast, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That means a lot. All right, folks. That's those are your certifications. Go get one. Pick one. Anyone. Start somewhere. Get them all. I don't know. Play it like Pokemon. Catch them all or something.
Yep. It's an investment, but it's worth it.
Totally. All right. Where can folks find you?
Well, best way to get a hold of me is probably either texting me or my email. My email is jnambacfi@gmail.com. If you want to text me, you can try calling me, but I typically don't answer the phone because I'm always doing something. But if you text me, say who you are, You can call me at 714 or text me 714-653-2130.
And then are you guys on Instagram or anything? Is
Okay.
Your son's got
Now,
you on Instagram or something?
We are, but you know what? My kids put me on Facebook. My kids did all that stuff on Instagram. We are there I think it's under Namba Services Inc. Or you may be able to pull Jon Namba up and might link into Namba Services. But I don't do the social media like a lot of guys do.
I get it. It's I do it, but man, is it time consuming.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's how you find them. And then what? You're Floor Installer Magazine. You are the editor-in-chief or editor?
Yeah. In fact, I'm writing an article right now that I'm late on. So yeah, I am the editorial director for Floor Covering Installer Magazine also.
All right. Well,
a lot of hats.
There's still no article on me. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Oh, wow. Okay, there's a challenge for me. All right. You got it. I think you know what? I think that's a topic.
I gotta try and keep up with Ken Ballin. You know, he always says he loves to see his name in print, so I got to get my name in print.
Ken's a hoot. Him and his sunglasses.
I love him. He's my buddy.
Yeah, he's a good guy too.
All right, Jon. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your expertise. I will let you go for the evening, and maybe you can get a little bit of work done on the article.
All right. Hey, thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. Talk soon.
All right. Thanks, Kyle.
Bye.
Bye.
That's all the time we have for this week. To keep the conversation going, head on over to the Floor Academy Facebook group. Be sure to subscribe so you can hear each and every episode. We can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and most major podcast directories. Don't forget to leave a review and let us know what you think about the show. If you would like to be a guest, have questions or feedback, you can email us at flooracademypodcast@gmail.com. You can help support the show by becoming a patron over at www.patreon.com/flooracademy. Remember to learn while you earn.